Welcome to Earth. At roughly 7.8 billion human lives, we have stood the test of time, nature, and each other. Through leaps in society, technology, and knowledge, we surpassed our Neanderthal roots and achieved what some might say a higher state of being. We've discovered new and fantastic energies that grant us the power to fulfill dreams we never thought possible. We have structures that reach far above the clouds and tunnels that cascade into the lower depths of the earth. We can fly amongst the birds, explore the deepest oceans, and even observe worlds far beyond our own. Humanity truly is the apex of this planet we call home. And then we f***ed it all up. You know the drill. Fallout, radiation poisoning, war, famine, disease, climate change, nuclear winter, and then nothing. For a while, I might add. But then, we were back. Us humans seemed to be harder to wipe out than we thought because somehow our stubborn asses came back from all of that. We got back to civilized ways and started rebuilding the lives we once knew. However, some decided they liked the older ways better. Ancient relics of our past now burn with nuclear power and have inherited strange and interesting abilities. What may have been your typical household toaster can now grant the ability to walk on walls and ceilings while also preparing a set of perfectly toasted bread. The chickens, cows, and dogs we used to live with now look like a combination of the three. The radiation really f***ed with their DNA. So we got pigs that make honey instead of bacon, bears with iron-like skin, and rats that roam around like a school of man-eating fish on land. But lucky us, looks like radiation was on our side too, because we have gained some pretty amazing abilities of our own. Magic is now commonplace for some, with the ability to light a smoke with your fingertips and the gift to communicate with nature itself. However, it seems time and dimension manipulation is still out of our reach, and of course, creating something out of nothing is still within the realms of fiction. Some of us weren't so lucky in this radiation roulette and ended up looking like a cross between an elderly man and a pimple. But that's what happens when you live next to the massive crash sites of the bombs. So it seems even though we ended up screwing over Earth, the old girl was able to kick back and we humans have done so as well. Maybe one day we'll return to the days of technology and prosperity. But for now, I guess we just make the best of it on this strange, new Earth. The first feeling Don Kane experienced was darkness, and drifting in a weightless void of nothingness. His mind was a haze, and as he struggled to see into the darkness, his eyes strained against what felt like a lifetime of rest. But once his vision returned, he did not see darkness, nor the void. Instead, he was met with wings. Massive wings basked in light. But then the next thing he knew, he was cold, naked, and alone in a vast field of wheat, with no sign of how he got there or where to go. The only clue he had to what may have transpired was the large metal blade protruding from his forearm. He wandered for days, scrapping together any form of nourishment he could find, collecting bits of clothing from the destroyed homes he stumbled upon to form an outfit that protected himself from the elements. After days of walking and struggling to survive, he finally found a group of travelers. Gelsh, the warrior, Balam, the scribe, Celia, the rogue, and Lager Larry Jr., the flamboyant wizard that wielded a staff made of ice cream scoops. Seeing Don Kane meant no harm, Gelsh invited him into their company. They drank and sang and told tales of the world they had gained in their travels, and soon another tale would be made, as they were in search for the tower with floors made of air, located in the city of Gary. Hoping to stay alive and keep the drinks flowing, Don Kane joined the troop in their quest to the legendary location. However, this quest for greatness and knowledge would not go so swimmingly. The cities now crawled with all manner of beasts, plagues, and the insane, but continued they so did. After fighting off mutant hounds and giant fire beetles, they found it. The tower with floors of air, or at least what remained of it. Now rubble and glass, one could only see in ancient pictures of the once great tower. Grabbing a snow globe to commemorate the occasion, the troop set off on their next adventure. However, in Don Kane's lack of insight during a quick scavenge for supplies, he awoke a mimic taking the form of an old street dumpster. The party fought bravely against the beast, but sadly Gelsh fell to its jaws before it could be slain. Seeing their leader no longer among the living, they chose to go their separate ways, and it was then that Don Kane truly learned these lands were unforgiving. After a day of hiding in the rubble of the collapsed tower, he was suddenly awoken by the shaking of the earth. As he peered over the horizon, he could see smoke and fire in the distance. Vowing he would not let this unforgiving world best him, he set off in search for answers and new adventures.
It's a hard world we live in for most folks, even in the best of circumstances. For Soul, you'd think he'd keep putting one foot in front of the other just to spite the rest of them. Charred on the surface, hard-boiled throughout. His methods would leave a bad taste in the mouth of most others. But you don't last long in his shoes without a certain level of selfishness and cynicism. Survival is the name of the game. Soul has yet to find a problem that can't be solved without a certain carefree attitude towards nuclear hellfire. But life wasn't always like this. Soul was a normal man, driven by a fascination in the remnants of a time long forgotten. A merchant of sorts, trading the knowledge he collected in exchange for the stories and experience of the people he met. He was never one to stay long. There were other towns to visit, more people to teach. That is, until the day he set foot in Bonnie. A thriving farming town sounds nigh impossible in the waste, but here one stood. An oasis in the desert. A week turned to weeks, the first month became months, and yet he stayed. He would eventually come to learn that the source of this miracle was radiation from a relic of the old world they had built the town around, but by that point it was a distant concern. Easily drowned out by the quiet charm of daily life in paradise. But paradise is a hard-kept secret, and raiders aren't the most reliable confidants when defied. Soul woke up in the night to the sound of shouting nearby, and as he stepped out into the street, he was met with a blinding flash of light. When he opened his eyes, he saw the hazy light of the morning sky. His body broken, his memories fragmented, his mind opened. The world, his world, was ash. Soul would spend decades in isolation as he tried to make sense of his memories and the patterns he'd seen in the flames. His knowledge, once freely traded commodity, was now a closely guarded secret. He traveled, trading for supplies with anyone who could stomach his appearance as he searched the ruins of the lost world, all the while burdened with the resentment that never lightened.
Maybe it was a miracle, a freak of nature, or perhaps just dumb luck. But when DeeDee Skwaa emerged from her egg, she was by far the largest owl any other bird had ever seen. They tweeted in delight, "How large and tall! Feathers so smooth, eyes so bright." DeeDee, gaining immediate pride in herself, loved her bird friends for their praise, and so she protected them. Gathering food and caring for their fragile bodies, she found purpose. As time went on, DeeDee found she could talk to plants and other animals. How happy they were to find a new, strong friend. But sadly, good times on New Earth are short-lived, as a rampant fire burnt her beloved home and scattered her friends to the wind. DeeDee was alone. DeeDee missed having friends. But suddenly, a boom in the distance and a bright shiny light in the sky. DeeDee liked shiny things, so she flew to find more friends and maybe more food.